Orleans Police put out a call to all its officers saying, if you have a boat, bring it here, help us. These are people who did not have the wherewithal to get out of town. They didn't have cars. There's no way they could pay for a hotel room. They stayed in their houses because they had to. And then the water came up.
Hi everyone, on this video I will be on the Hurricane Katrina tour, which is something you can do when you're in New Orleans, Louisiana. You won't be hearing much of me. I'll just film different parts of the tour when I do it. I'll drop in here and there. Other than that, enjoy.
Before I could listen to that tape. When I did, I still have nightmares. This is one of my personal nightmares. The third call on that, it was an audio tape. Third call there, I could hear the storm winds in the background. It was an elderly lady, and this is what she said. I'm in a wheelchair. My house is flooding. No one is here. 911 isn't answering. What do I do? At that point, she was so frightened, she hung up. She didn't give me her name, her phone number, her address. We had no digital footprint because this was before the digital age. To this day, I don't know what happened to her. 2006, they're taking all of this out now because those big brick structures back there with the green roofs, that's the permanent fixtures. If you look, you can see there's a series of gates and a series of pumps. In part of that structure, there's a series of gates. When we have a storm threat, they push through with such incredible force it flooded about a third of New Orleans up to 20 feet deep, then it settled out. If you look at the nearer bank where that big building is, look down about half a mile. See the bank bends? It was breaking both banks. That's how powerful the water was. This one went first, took the pressure off the other side. That's the break. On the right side, you can see on the back side it's painted brown. They were rolling across a month ago when Hurricane Barry was coming in. That gate was shut. You couldn't get out to the lake. This side designed to flood. But anyway, I met a Coast Guard rescue swimmer on the 10th anniversary of Katrina. He and his crew in that little tiny helicopter saved 200 people, got them off their rooftops.
When you are on the tour, it will take you here, which is the new Canal Lighthouse on Lakeshore Drive. It's the only working lighthouse in Louisiana, and it has a museum on the first floor dedicated to the damage that was caused to the lighthouse and Hurricane Katrina.
Channels, natural channels that cut through the marsh and connect it with the Gulf.
Smokestacks, that's the drainage pumps, and then the gates are right there. You can see this is a smaller canal than the 17th Street Canal, so there's only 3 little openings there. Those are the actual gates, those rib structures. They drop down, the wave comes in, it's reinforced, it hits those gates, it doesn't go any further. They turn the pumps on, pump the rainwater out of the canal around it. Thanks, George. Compacted and dried out. So, again, 9 to 12 feet of storm surge. The canal banks it was not overtopped, the banks broke. And when they broke, you can see the water poured down into the community. And you can see the cement changes color in multiple places on this canal. It broke in several places here. But you see there's plenty of room for 9 to 12 more feet of water. But when the wall went down, look how much lower the houses were. So this neighborhood, this is called Gentilly. was heavily damaged. This is a shot of one of the great big helicopters dropping the 1-ton sandbags and how badly damaged the house is. Next.
On the tour you also go here, which is the open air and levee expedition. It's situated at 5000 Warrington Drive, or the house that was 5000 Warrington Drive, which was destroyed because of Hurricane Katrina when the levees broke. Really interesting if you're there to read all the different stories of the local area that you're in. Next to the gardens is a one-story house that was flooded when the levees failed, and it's used as a replica to demonstrate the flooding and damage that was caused to everyday people's homes. On the house is one of these X codes or Katrina crosses that were painted on houses by rescue teams once they had been into the house and identified people that were inside, whether people were inside. You still see them on quite a lot of houses in New Orleans. You don't see them. Most tourists go to the French Quarter. The French Quarter wasn't flooded, or wasn't severely flooded, but you still see them when you're in and around the city of New Orleans. The top cross, the date, that would mean the 22nd of September. Americans do their dates backwards. On the left is the rescue team, so PA I imagine is Pennsylvania, so a Pennsylvania team 1. The bottom is the number of bodies that were found, in this case 0, and on the right is the hazards that are still currently in the home when the cross was painted.
Now you're seeing more open lots, houses that are not well repaired. You're going to start seeing a lot of boarded up houses in this area. On the right side, the one with all the vines all over it, that has never been touched since the storm. It is beginning in the back to collapse now. You're going to see there's another one, a gray one in the next block. They just finally put a little coat of paint on it, but it's also been sitting there. The school was shut down after Katrina and just boarded up and left. All right, back to insurance. The flood insurance is paid by the federal government, and like I said, buy it. My flood insurance, I paid it a few months ago, $490 for a year. I live in New Orleans. It's dirt cheap if you're outside of a flood zone. Not doing anything, we're not going to help you. Go away, file again. But eventually they got it straightened out. Road Home helped lots of people. And in some cases, you get your check from the Road Home program, and then there'll be a knock at your door a few days later. Miss Jones, hey, it's Joe the contractor. How much money did the Road Home give you to fix your house? $65,000? Well, look, I just looked at your house. It's going to cost me $70,000 to do the work. Why don't you give me a check? I'll be here Monday. You give them the check, you never see them again. Or they come out, they do a little bit of work. Something for the Ninth Ward. It's about a 95-98% African-American community. Great-grandpa bought the property, built the house 80-90 years ago. Paid off decades ago. Handed down through the family, generation to generation. In many cases, people here did not realize they needed to get legal title to the house. So when Katrina hit, they couldn't prove they owned it. Great-grandpa paid it off 70 years ago. All those records were lost. And they also couldn't afford any kind of insurance. You can see in this neighborhood. Look at some of the streets. They're in such bad shape here, they're hardly drivable. So you can see how much is still missing 14 years after the storm. Some houses are new, some have been repaired, but there's a lot where nobody else has been able to move in because they just don't know who's there. On the other side, well, let me show you first. This is the other side of the Ninth Ward postcard picture taken the day after the storm came in. The levee walls fell so drastically that the barge was actually sucked through the hole. It was sitting on top of a school bus. I was actually out there. Meaning it's about to fall over on its side. On the other side of the canal, this is what they came back to. That's how bad it was. The first 3 blocks were just gone. The tidal wave swept through there. Some people died. Their houses collapsed on them. They didn't even have time to drown. I was with people sifting through the debris. One lady could only find eating utensils. Look at all the open lots here. They're still trying to figure out who legally owns. So much here has not been rebuilt yet. You see slabs, empty lots. This is a crying shame. 14 years after the storm, over there it's even worse. There's only about 30% of the original population back in the 9th Ward today. In them, and they're just dilapidated. Most of it is just going back to jungle back there. No, Louis Armstrong lived a long way from here. You think of Pat's Domino. Pat's house is over on Caffin Avenue, over there. I was with Pat's one day, and he had all the plans to rebuild. He died 2 years ago, before it could ever happen. The house is still sitting there. Nobody has been able to get it fixed yet. It's still got his name up on them. It was always a 9th Ward landmark, but it's about half a mile from the other side. If you look down these side streets and see how bad they are, see how many open lots there are. They had a number of meetings in early 2006. They called them the Bring Back New Orleans sessions, which made it sound like they had a plan. They didn't have any idea how to bring New Orleans back. And in some areas, 9th Ward and another part of town called Broadmoor, they said the damage was so extensive, don't rebuild. Let it become industrial sites or parkland. Both communities were African American.
Thank you very much for watching, and thank you for Grace Tours for the tour. Please like and subscribe, and I have lots of other videos you can watch. Take care now. Bye.